This video was in part produced by Marklin LGB in their series How to Build an LGB Garden Railroad. In this episode, they're showing you how to digitize or start digitizing your turnouts with the help of a turnout decoder. We're going to do this slightly differently. I'll freely translate it, but then also use some of our own footage, our own produced footage, to try to clarify how to work with these decoders. So in the old analog system, we used the controller that came with the starter set, the little red box. And then when you wanted to automate your turnouts or control them remotely, we used this switch box, this control box for your switches. And it had a nice little cover, so you could use it in the garden. And then to get AC power, which we needed to control the turnouts, you had this little Marklin converter box. Now we're going to use the CS3 and digitize everything, so that makes it actually a little bit easier. We're not going to need these components. We will still need the turnout motor on the turnout, but in this case I already took off the wires because we're going to reconnect them now to a turnout decoder. And then we have one new item here, and that is the turnout decoder. And it really is the same as this control box, but then in a digital format. So this turnout decoder has connections for 4 turnouts, just like the control box, and will get its power from the central station 3. So it has red and blue at the edge of the controller, and that's where the digital power from the central station or from your track goes to the control box. And I'll show you now how to connect it. And what I'll do is use my little cable that I use for my test track, because I have that ready. It makes it much easier. And I put it in the second output of the central station and simply connect that for demonstration purposes to the turnout decoder or the solenoid decoder right now. So I make sure that when making these connections, I make sure that the central station is in the stop mode or is powered off. And I use a little screwdriver and I undo the clamps. I hope you can see it on the camera. I undo these 2 little screws and then stick the wires in. So there's one. I hope you can see it. And here's the second one. Yep. Hold on. Let me try that again. Okay, tighten that up. Good. Now I got it. The red and the blue, which is the color coding that LGB uses, and it goes to the digital power. And now we'll go ahead and look at our central station, because at this point the decoder is already connected. And you go to Edit and then Discover MFX Items, and you can either pick Get a New Address or Keep its address. And you can see this portion is our own recording because a portion of the CS3 is in English. It finds the decoder and then it's going to read out the information of the decoder. And it then tries to find out if there are any turnouts connected to the decoder, which is not the case right now. And once the search is completed, you can see that the central station added 4 turnouts, because this decoder has a total of 4 outputs. Let me clean up the screen a little bit, get rid of that. And here is the 4 turnouts. And by clicking on them, you can actuate the turnouts. Now we're going to go back to the edit mode and edit article list. If I click on it, you now not only see the 4 turnouts, but you also see the decoder itself. And the turnouts are numbered A.1 through A.4. And you can give them any name that you would like to give them to them. Here, since my computer is connected to the central station, I can type on my keyboard And I tried to type station, but misspelled it obviously. You can also just use your central station screen like I'm doing here, and give your turnout whatever name is useful for you. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to call it station, capital R and 1, and then hit enter. It's just a completely generic name, but just for demonstration purposes, I called that first turnout the station R1 turnout. And then I could do the same for 2 and 3 and 4. And you notice that the addresses are 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I click on A, which is our turnout decoder, it gave it address number 1. If I want to change the address, it jumps up by increments of 4, because again, it needs to keep 4 addresses occupied. So if I click on OK now it's set at address number 13. And so the first turnout will be address number 13. I go back to add article list, and you can see it gave it the address number 13. That would be address number 14, and the third turnout will be 15, and the fourth turnout will be 16. Back to the original video. In this test setup now, we have just the wire going to the digital decoder, and now we're going to connect the turnout motor to the digital decoder. So I'll make sure that the central station is set at stop. You can also turn it off for now. And we're going to use the orange and white cable, as you can see here. And we're simply going to connect it to the first output on the digital decoder, the one marked A1, so that it will correspond with the first turnout on the central station. And we simply need to tighten these wires up a little bit. We're going to simply put orange in the orange output and the white orange into the white output. So it's the third position from the left for the orange wire. And right next to it, on the fourth position, we're going to put the white wire. Really, the white-orange wire. Tighten it up. And now we're going to run these wires to the turnout motor on the turnout. And you can see these are also marked white and orange. And obviously, we're going to put the orange in the orange output and the white in the white one. I hope you can see it here in the camera. Tighten this one up and get the white wire. Put it in the second slot and tighten that up. So now we have the turnout motor connected to the digital decoder, and the digital decoder is connected to the central station. So you can see it's on the first input, or output I should say, and everything should work now. So I'll take the central station off of stop, and now if I click on A1, the first turnout, then the turnout should actually click and work. And you can see it works. And now I'm going to switch back to the edit mode. This is the edit screen on my central station, and that turnout works. But what I wanted to show you is that you can change the name on that decoder. Here it's just named A, but you can change this to whatever you want. And if the turnout is not a right-hand turnout, you can pick any of the icons that you see in the bottom bar and change it to a left-hand turnout, a crossing, or whatever you need it to be. Well, this pretty much concludes the digitizing of your LGB turnout with this digital decoder. You can place this digital decoder anywhere on your layout. You could perhaps put a little building on top of it, It is weather-tight, just like the turnout motor. And you could place your central station inside the house and connect it to your local network with the LAN cable. And then you could control your trains outside with your iPad if you set it up that way. Hope you enjoyed this video and our loose translation of what Michael is saying here. If you found it useful, let us know. If you have any questions, let us know. Our email, service1@ajckids.com. Thanks for watching. See you the next time.